All right, we are started.
We are live.
We are live. Welcome back to the Absurdity podcast, the only podcast where Doug and I explain hypothetical situations that are absurd, discuss communication, and also discuss fitness. And fitness is what we're going to be delving into today. This is our guest, Johnny Kamp. You might recognize him from past videos or past experiences. Johnny's kind of the man. He's quite large. As you can see, he's taking up most of the time and screen here. So, yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself, Johnny.
As he said, pretty warm welcome for myself. I'm Johnny Kamp. Birth certificate, John Kamp. But I would prefer Johnny with the NY at the end.
What about a rapper name?
Big Jizzy. Big Jizzy. You know,
so we got Big Jizzy out here. We're going to be discussing
Jizzy.
some fitness stuff today.
If we were to rap, I wouldn't do good.
You don't think so? I've seen you freestyle. You're not that bad.
But it's not about doing good. It's about giving the effort. Because what is good and what is bad?
Oh, we can't do this again. We cannot do
what
this
is good
again.
and what is bad?
We dig into this every time.
There you go. So, more or less, I'm Big Jizzy. I'm here. I was welcomed and I'm present. So let's get it.
We're very happy to have John on today. We've been talking about doing this for a couple weeks and it finally lined up. So Doug's schedule and John's schedule are pretty packed. Mine's pretty open.
Where's the camera, by the way?
The camera is right there.
Okay, got you.
And the microphone's right here. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into it.
Yep.
Basically, we all work out together, but we all work out separate and kind of have our own goals and whatnot. But we all kind of have similar things that overlap, and then we all have differences in our approach because we have different goals in mind. So I think it'd be fun to kind of discuss that and just kind of go over some similarities and differences.
Well, what are your goals right now?
So, like, for me,
Gym-wise.
I'm very just, in general, like, athletic. That's kind of my goal, is, like, to be stronger, be faster, be able to lift a little bit more weight here and there, but just, in general, maintain, like, a good physical, presence.
The elite member of the human race.
Yeah, like, I more or less just do it to be, like, healthy and strong.
I don't know about that. What does that mean?
It's more like sustainability, but above normal.
Yes, exactly. Like,
So
I'm not interested in a powerlifting thing.
Like, you don't want to be a full-on powerlifter. You don't want to be a full-on bodybuilder or a runner. You just want to be able to do basically all of it.
Correct. So I try to be as well-rounded as possible, but that obviously has its downsides. Like, I'm not able to accomplish the same type of goals as, like, you might be able to with powerlifting.
Well, it's just based on specificity.
Yeah.
So specificity in any nature, if you're going to be completely powerlifting or you're going to be completely bodybuilding, you're going to be completely running or fighting, whatever it is, you're never going to be able to be good enough or the best at all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
If you give everything to fighting, if you give everything to powerlifting, the big three, the squat, bench, deadlift, you'll always be the best by honing in completely 100%.
Yeah.
But if you can, like you're trying to give like a big overarching umbrella of just athleticism and performance in all these different avenues. So being able to give like 80% of effort to a bunch of different areas, you're just going to be so much more well-rounded. Instead of giving 100% to one thing, you're just going to be, that's going to be your thing, but trying to delve into other ideas, other avenues of athleticism or anything in the gym. You're not going to be as good as those because you haven't been training them for a decent amount of time.
Well, and that's kind of how it started, is because when I first started working out, it was just like, I want to get a little bigger. I want to be a little stronger. And then as time progressed, then I was like, oh, actually, I really want to be able to do as much weight on bench as I can. Mm-hmm. I actually really want to be able to box jump. I really want to be able to box.
Yeah. So
like all the different like pieces of it started coming in, and then I would focus in on one thing at a time and kind of like back up, and now it's part of my repertoire. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're a big fan of 3 Bs.
The 3 Bs?
Bench press, box jumps, and boxing.
Yes, sir. Bench press,
I haven't heard that
box jumps, and boxing, and squats. BBS?
No.
Triple BS.
You know BDSM?
Triple BS.
No, BDSM.
Oh.
Whoa.
You're bringing ropes into the gym?
Bench,
We used
deadlift,
to.
squat, and military press.
Ah.
Those are the big 4 BDSM. Yeah, you gotta love them.
Doug, what did we
BDSM
do
goes
yesterday?
a long way.
What?
What did we do yesterday?
Not BDS.
We did the military press yesterday.
Yes, we did.
And it was killer.
So, were you thinking about BDSM though? You weren't doing
Why?
those, you weren't doing those other 3 movements, so you weren't thinking about BDSM. You know? But
John?
now the next time that you do it, you'll be like, shoot, he was right.
And in a way, I guess I am inflicting pain on my body at the gym.
Through pleasure.
Yeah, in an odd way. That's really interesting.
And you're
Actually,
sweating.
me and Doug were just talking about this other day. Doug, do you want to like explain a little bit what we were talking about with the...
No, because I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're referencing.
So the other day when we were talking, we were like at the gym. You go there and it's a pain, like a pain that you feel.
Yes,
but you're okay
to put
with
stress
it.
on your body.
Oh.
Yes, but we were talking about how it's enjoyable, even though you're going through
diamonds
that.
are made.
Yeah, kinda.
Diamonds are made through pressure.
Yes, sir.
Like, I'm not expecting to be like the best in the world or whatever, be a diamond in a sense. However, actual mechanical tension is the prime builder of strength and muscle building.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like I said, mechanical tension. So you're putting your muscles under tension, they're gonna grow.
Those compound workouts.
Yes. So having high weight or high reps or near failure or above failure, through people helping you through reps, that's how you build muscle and strength, is through tension. Therefore, through pain and suffering, you're able to come out
better.
Stronger, better, more adaptable.
Well, so, and for everybody that doesn't know, basically the way that we kind of would break it down, I guess, is like I'm kind of an overall just athletic type of goal. Mm-hmm. John's more powerlifting oriented, so he does a lot of strength and just powerlifting, your heavy deadlifts and bench press and stuff. And then Doug is a little bit more like acclimated to fighting, but you also do, some powerlifting, I would say, a little bit. I don't know how you would classify that, but
I wouldn't classify it as anything right now because my goals kind of switch every quarter of the year. I went from trying to be like a peak performance athlete and have a real high endurance level and be able to be super lean and perform for a long period of time into where I'm at now, where I'm trying to kind of no longer even sculpt my body. I just want to put mass on. That way, by the time New Year's rolls around, then I can start cutting for the spring.
Yeah.
And I'll look good, and I actually think that's when I'll go back to that athlete and trying to be more endurance oriented.
Yeah. Well, so let's back up real quick too. So for anybody that's new in the gym or getting started in the gym, this is all kind of advanced stuff, I guess. Yeah. But we got into weightlifting or something that kind of propelled us into the I don't know what you call it. It's almost like a virus. Once you start kind of working out and you're getting that little
addicted.
It just it just sucks you in and you just want to do it all the time.
Because you're seeing after you go in. Say I was 155 pounds in 11th grade.
That's where we started at.
Exactly, that was our starting point. 6 foot, athletic build, playing soccer or whatever. I started around 155, and then I started working out, and I started eating better and eating enough protein, drinking enough water and everything. And then all of a sudden my body weight keeps going up, and the way I look in the mirror keeps going up, and in front of me I'm putting more weight in the bar and I'm feeling better about what I'm doing. That is addicting.
Yeah.
It's you put
it's
work
a constant
in.
Grind.
Exactly. You're putting work in and you're visually seeing the benefits.
Yes.
It's if you're trying to start a business and you're hustling and whatnot, and you're doing everything you need to do, but you're not seeing what's going on. You're not seeing the benefit happen right before your eyes. It's hard to keep going, and it's really easy to lose sight of your direction.
That's what the gym's helpful with, though. That delayed gratification.
Right.
It trains you to be okay with that delayed gratification.
And especially in the beginning, we're talking about, in the beginning, you're able to see the muscle come on. You're able to see if you want to get leaner, if you're overweight and you're starting to do more cardio, whatever. And seeing the fat come off fast, that is addicting. Putting more muscle on and seeing that benefit and the visualization, that is more addicting because you're putting all this work in, hour and a half a day, eating better, and you're actually seeing what's going on. It's how can you ask for more?
I feel like it's a control thing. Honestly, if you boil it down.
What do you mean control thing?
So everybody in some sort of way seeks control in their life. It's a way of having power and authority in your life, right?
Yeah, you have to have it.
Exactly. Everybody seeks that out to some degree. And in the gym, when you're going in there, you choose to go every day. You choose to put an extra 5 pounds on. You choose to eat the right way and do the research to figure out how to do different things the right way. So there's a lot of work going in that you're choosing to do, and then you're seeing the results. So I think it's a control thing. After you start getting into it and you can progress, then you know that you're controlling your physical destiny, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's a good way to look at it.
No other outside force can control necessarily your physical appearance.
Yeah, and you're only going to be as strong as the work you put in. So you know that. Everybody knows that, I think, whether they actively realize it or not. But whatever work you put in, you'll see.
That's hard to show people, though.
Yeah, it is.
How did you get started working out specifically?
So I think everybody kind of starts off in a similar way, but this is how I started out.
That's the weight. I'm going to lift it.
Well, no, I mean, I think everybody has someone that gets them into it, is my point. Like, I think someone has to kind of get you involved a little bit.
You're like a father figure.
Or someone. Like, my neighbor did it. So he was like a year or two older than me. And then he was like, hey, you should start working out. And then one day I was like, actually, I am like tired of being small and skinny. Like, I want to get more muscular. And then I started going with him. And ever since then, I've just been in the gym.
Did it start out as just a thing of like you want to look good, or you want to feel good?
So the initial thing, I remember the first thing I thought was everybody in high school was like, six pack, and it, you know what I mean? I guess it's everywhere in society, but I was like, that doesn't seem that hard. Like, I want a six pack. I remember I told Mitchell, I was like, the neighbor behind me, I was like, I really want to have a six pack, abs. That's what I want. And then he was like, all right, let's get to the gym. And like 6 months later, I was there. Just takes a little.
Oh, that's nice.
Must be nice to be.
Sorry.
3 months, you just got a six pack.
Well, but I was skinny though, so it wasn't like I looked muscular. It was just that I was lean, is my point. And then over time, I built up the muscle.
It's like you were skinny and lean though.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for me and Doug. Me and Doug went on a little pre-EDC little shred sesh.
Little shred sesh. About a month ago, this happened.
Yeah, and we kind of low key said, the winner of whoever's the leanest is just more alpha, more or less.
It was just an ego-based competition.
Completely just ego-driven, just subconscious to the absolute next level. Sigmund Freud vibes the whole time.
You did pretty good, though. I was impressed with you guys. Like, I'd say it was probably like a 10-pound loss. Something
easily,
like that, right?
Easily. And, like, I had, the driving force is basically ego and just trying to be better than you. And it's simple. Like, just bro, whatever you want to call it. Like, just it's so fun just going against your homie. It's so fun.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
and we kept each other accountable.
We had an exact date, and it's like we're playing poker, and Doug comes in, and he didn't know I was there.
No, I did it.
Mans has key lime pie and some other stuff, I think, from Chick-fil-A, and he's like,
oh, he's here.
And it was a great experience for sure. But
you guys both definitely cut a lot.
When we have that amount of muscle and you have this metabolism that basically wants you to eat all the time, it's not easy to have a six-pack because you have all this muscle and you need to feed your body to keep it and to perform in the gym. Mm-hmm. So being lean and skinny are kind of different things, but you can also be both, which is what you were in the beginning because you didn't really have much of a buildup of a physique.
It was just skeletal muscle.
Exactly.
There was no
But everyone has abs, right? And it's basically all made in the kitchen. Like, I could stop working out. I could work out once or twice a week instead of 5 or 6 and get my diet completely locked in order to be specific to getting abs, and I'll get them.
But that's the thing is we have different goals, though, with that. Like, for me, I wish I could be bigger. Like, I've been trying for years to eat as much as I can and go to the gym more and, like, do all the right things, but my body's metabolism is so fast that it's like very difficult for me to gain like you can, whereas it's the opposite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like there's a grass is greener situation.
Yeah.
I guess you could say I have a somewhat slower metabolism than you. If I
eat
can't,
a lot more too.
That's true, but yeah, it's hard to go one way or the other. And from birth, your DNA is actually plays like the biggest role you could ever imagine in how your bone structure is. First of all. Like, we all have different bone structures. We all, Doug's, it goes like this in the height scale. He's like 6'2".
My bone's bigger than your guys.
Yeah. Your bones are longer.
My bone is longer.
Look at something simple like our shoulders, though. Like, if you look at your shoulder placement and, like, the way that it's structured versus Doug's versus mine, it's different. So everybody's body has to, like, adapt and kind of grow their own way.
And like I said, from DNA, that dictates what you're going to look like. It also dictates how easily you're going to put on muscle.
Yeah.
How easy you're going to retain muscle, how your metabolism is going to be.
Your insertions even.
Your insertions, your athletic potential. Like, African Americans, they have a typically higher insertion on their calf muscles.
Really?
Yes, so they have a higher insertion on their calf muscle, which allows their soleus and their Achilles to be longer, giving them a higher spring and elasticity ability. That's why they can typically jump farther, jump higher, sprint, faster, because they have more of a tendon elasticity effect, giving them that quickness. That's why you see them, they have a higher, African Americans have a higher rate in sports, is because they're basically predispositioned to be more athletic.
Yeah.
It's more or less.
Well, like even you, for example, like you've got like a Viking DNA to you that you, well, you know what I mean though, or even like we always call it, like joke around and I'll say like Hercules because you have like naturally very large arms and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's some things you can't replicate. Like for me, like I'm a little more vascular than like the average person, but I don't have the bulk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just not as capable for me.
Exactly. Your predisposition to have certain ways. Yeah. And with having that and knowing that, if you find out, it's pretty easy to find out what your predisposition to have. By seeing that and and realizing it, you're able to hone in and be like, okay, I am basically gifted to have this route. Am I gifted to be more vascular and lean? Okay. I'm going to keep eating more because basically no matter how much you eat, you're not going to be fat.
Yeah.
So if you take that and be like, okay, no matter how much I eat, I can still be relatively lean. That is how I need to bulk. That is how I'm going to bulk, is by force feeding myself basically.
Yeah.
In order to put that muscle and size and mass on. For us, we have a bit of a harder time keep staying lean. Mm-hmm. So we need to understand that, okay, we need to dial back the food but keep the training up in order to counteract that. And like I said, you can eat more protein to have a faster metabolism. You can work out and do everything you need to do, to be burning more calories. But at the end of the day, you're going to be in your DNA, your predisposition to have a certain body type, metabolism, and musculature. And all you can really do is try to better that and accept it and just try to move forward knowing that.
Well, so like go ahead, Doug.
What do you think's more attractive to society?
The Adonis Ratio. 1.618.
I disagree.
What is that?
The Adonis Ratio is the golden rule of ratio, or the golden ratio in nature for attractiveness and structure. So like in nature, the way a hurricane spirals or the way like flowers are formed or honeycombs and stuff like that, whatever attractiveness or like structure you can find in nature, including in humans, relates to this 1.618 ratio. So in theory, the most attractive men will have a shoulder to waist ratio of 1.618. They'll also have like their face dimensions will be a 1 to 1.618.
Wow.
So in theory, and like you'll find it in celebrities and like Henry Cavill, like the Superman guy, like muscular actors and stuff. They all meet this ratio like around the margins anyway. But you can't achieve that if you don't. Like,
why do you think that's attractive though?
Because that means that you are aligned with see, this is a big question because this is a ratio of nature, which the universe I can't explain.
It's an innate thing.
It is everywhere though, and it's in almost every pattern and structure in nature and attractiveness. So it's like, it's kind of a rule of nature, but at the same time it's, it depends obviously. Like that's not the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's a lot of artists out there that sculpt based on like the Adonis ratio, right?
Yeah.
But isn't art subjective?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like there is technically like this perfect ratio, but someone subjectively might not see the person as perfectly attractive, and they might see someone else as really attractive that doesn't necessarily meet that ratio.
But what do you think, like society as a whole, people our age, what do you think they see as attractive physique?
I would say it doesn't have to do with the physique, actually. I would think that people our age more or less appreciate the effort. So like if someone's really muscular, you know that they had to have put in some sort of work to get there. It doesn't just happen. Whereas if someone's really skinny, you know that they're probably not eating the best, or they're probably not working out in the most effective way. So I would say it almost has to do with like a subconscious, how do I explain? Like a subconscious awareness of how hard they're working.
Do you really think people notice that though?
100%. Especially girls. Girls really notice that.
I think they just appreciate that it's there, but they don't think about the effort that goes into it.
Well, I'd say it's subconscious. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with that. I think it's all about effort. Girls want guys that can protect them.
Yes,
and
they can do things.
If a guy is well groomed, well dressed, is muscular, being muscular and lean or whatever with vascular, that shows one that you work out, two that your diet's in check, and three just overall. Just you're putting in effort to better your body.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like someone that's being accountable to trying to look their best?
Like you don't have to be the biggest guy, but
Nick hates you.
You don't have to be the biggest guy. That was my point. Like you don't have to even be.
Not.
Like I've talked to a lot of girls that say they don't necessarily care if you're muscular or not. It's not a thing that they care about that much. But it represents something. Like if you're if you wear nice clothes, you probably have some sort of money. If you have some sort of muscles, you have some sort of work ethic. You know what I mean? There's different things associated with it, and I think that's what people are like, specifically girls, but guys too, I think, notice that.
I don't think that can be subconscious though. I think that's too much for your limbic brain to handle. I think like that has to be more conscious effort to think about what goes into that.
You might, but it's probably like
maybe.
I mean, like the thing is, the reason that I'm like wanting to say it's subconscious is because like when we go out, I notice, like I'll pay attention. I'll notice like a guy or a girl or someone that I think is working hard. You know what I mean? But it's not like I notice it and I'm like looking at it. It's like I'll just be looking around at the bar or something, and then I see a guy and I'm like, oh, that guy probably has like a really good job, or like maybe like, you know what I mean? Or I'll see a girl and I'm like, she probably like goes to the gym a lot.
But you can have, you can have the same type of clothes vibe. Like you can have a sports coat on and a shirt and pants and nice loafers on, right? And that get up could be $75, $100. If it, like, say your shoes were given as a gift and your sports coat was got on
sale. The whole
sale.
thing was a gift.
The whole thing was a gift.
It was free.
But seeing that, most people aren't going to be like, oh, he probably got that for cheap. It's more like, you look good, you try hard, you have effort, okay? Like
the effort's the thing. That's the
exactly.
main...
It doesn't matter like that. Like the shoes could be $200, the coat could be $300, and like you could have a Rolex on. But if you have a Citizen watch on and your coat is like kind of cheap,
are you calling me out?
That's
right
what
now?
I'm like. I was like, I have a Citizen watch.
I have a Citizen watch.
I have
me too. Me too. But seeing that, it doesn't mean that you're cheap. It doesn't mean that. Like, it doesn't mean that you're less than. It just means that you're putting in effort. It doesn't matter. The moral story, it doesn't matter that your stuff may be cheaper than the homie next to you.
No, the price doesn't matter.
It matters about that you are trying to increase your physical appearance.
I think
and you're holding yourself accountable.
I think there's a game there. Because
it's always a game. There's a game in everything.
The game of life is always playing.
Goodness.
And I just saw that thing online yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it. I posted it on my Instagram. It was like a Gary Vee thing where he was saying... it's funny because like if you think all of yourself as a business, then when that business isn't doing well, you're not going to do well. But the whole point of it was when you start to see your business as a game, and I kind of interpret it as like life, but when you see your business or your social whatever as a game, then it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more interesting. You're not as caught up in it because it's like if I make the wrong move, then I learn and I'll make the right move next time because I'm going to win the game in the long run. It's a different mindset though.
It is, and I actually do recall like you showing me that, and it was funny because I was like, thinking about life as a game is really interesting because you're always trying to get the achievements, you're always trying to find the next challenge, which leads into different paths, and you're like trying to figure out your way to the next level.
Like, where's the objective? Is it? I'm going north, and it's saying it's northeast. I just went over there, and now I got to go across the map to get over to this objective. I just want to move on.
Use your special abilities.
It's like, come on. It's like, oh, you need to level up your skills here in order to reach that objective. And I was like, there's always something.
You always got to level up.
Yeah.
If not, you're just staying stagnant.
Yeah.
And just
I love that word. Stagnant.
Stagnant.
Wandering generality?
No.
Whoa.
No wandering
generality.
That's tough to digest. It has to be a meaningful specific.
What's the saying that you have?
It's a Zig Ziglar quote. It says, don't be a wandering generality, be a meaningful specific. And it's basically saying, like, I think we talked about this last week or the week before on the podcast. It's one of my favorite quotes because it's like the archer, if he can shoot the arrow into the target and hit it over and over, he's their best archer or whatever. But if you blindfold him, he can't do it because he can't see his target. So it's like if you're a wandering generality and you don't necessarily have any targets and you don't have any goals and you're just kind of doing whatever, you're never going to achieve anything. But if you have a meaningful and specific like path, then you're going to achieve something regardless of how, like, you could not be doing it that well, but you're still going in the direction, is my point.
You'll get close.
Yeah.
It's kind of like seeing with me without glasses. It's like,
you look fine to me still.
I know, but I can't see. You know, it's like I can't see the address over there. Yeah. If I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see, like, to relate it to what you're saying, I can't see that address. I don't know that's exactly where I need to go. Say I need to go running a business or running a marathon or doing whatever it is with athletics. You need to be here on this date, you need to be this weight, you need to have this time of your mile, you need to have all these specific things. But metaphorically, if I don't have my glasses on and I can't see that and I'm a wandering generality, then, or if I can't see the address over there, I'm gonna get close, but I'm not gonna be in the exact place I could be if I was as specific as I could be.
There's no clear path.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How is your training for the marathon going?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, tell us about that. I forgot about that.
Goodness.
That's in February, right?
February 13th, me running 26.2 miles. I don't know how much I'm going to weigh.
You're going to lose a little bit of weight, I'd say.
So, it all started back like...
when I was 5.
I swear, no, it was like April or May of this year, of 2021. And I was like, what's something so hard that I've never done that I'm gonna grow so much through the process of?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. I came across a marathon, the thought of it. I'm like, I used to play soccer, I used to run a lot, but I have not ran more than 2-3 miles in like 4 years, right? So by no means am I a runner, right? But I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it. So I started running like 2-3 days a week, just like 2 miles, down around the park and whatnot, getting some cardio
When was
in.
this? Like, when did you start?
About May.
Okay.
Around May-ish. So what? 5, almost
like 6
7,
months?
almost, yeah, at least 6, maybe 7 months ago. So I got really, I was going up with the mileage, weekly mileage, and I was getting my diet. I was eating less, so I was, reducing the amount of body weight that I had. That way I could float better across the pavement.
Could glide.
Less contact.
John's
less
gonna
resistance.
moonwalk a marathon.
Less resistance.
Moonwalk a marathon, eh?
So I'm doing that. I'm getting good at it, and then all of a sudden, I get like this crazy MCL pain, right? And that's on the outside, and I could barely walk. I was limping super, super bad, and I don't know if I stepped wrong on a curb or something, because running through sidewalks, it wasn't just running on flat ground. And whenever you change direction, and your tendons and your muscles are already fatigued from running 4 miles already, that little bit of different flexion of a different angle of your foot, that could really skew you out. So that's what happened to me. So that took about a week, 2 weeks, and I took a big decline in my running mileage. Then I started ramping it back up. Then I started having hip issues, and then all of us are imbalanced. Our bodies are imbalanced, and we're talking. Me and Nick are talking about that
this. It's
on
so
the way back
frustrating.
from the roadhouse. Yeah, we're talking about it. It's like our bodies are like, they're all imperfect, they're all out of balance, but we're used to it, so we don't feel it.
But it's still frustrating when you see that something's not, like an ab's just not in the right place.
Yeah, or a chest is like a little bit off.
Your insertion's just a little off.
What are you comparing that to? Why do you think it's off?
Because your brain knows what symmetry should look like, and so when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see something's not symmetric, which it's inherently not going to be, but it's still frustrating.
I don't think that's true whatsoever. I don't think your brain sees symmetry like that.
I would say it does. Whenever I notice my body, I notice little inconsistencies that aren't symmetric.
When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you see that your ears are off?
Yeah.
How? What?
You don't know? Do you really not?
I've never even looked at that.
Exactly.
But you don't notice the little details of your face and body that
I know the exact details of my face.
I like you're just not aware.
Yeah, you're not aware. You're not conscious of the symmetry.
But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you don't care as much. Like for me, if I see something that's
unsymmetric,
I'm focused
a path that you've taken to be like constantly just telling yourself, oh, am I symmetrical? Nope. I'm gonna make sure that I'm not, because I'm looking in the mirror right now. I'm like, my ears aren't symmetrical. My nose is kind of like off on my eyes. Like, you can go down that path.
It's a daily pattern. I notice inconsistencies every day.
Big pattern. To go back on the running, I started, it had like definitely a roller coaster of different, getting good and having injury, getting good and having injury, cutting big time for that little bro face-off, whatever we had.
Bro face-off.
Whatever it's called. What do we call it?
The lean competition.
The lean whatever it was.
The great lean competition of 2021.
And then I was running way too much, and I got another knee thing, and
was that your tibia thing?
No, this was actually in my in my quad tendon up here, tendonitis. And then I'm just fumbling, because everything that you want to do, there's gonna be some just big challenge. If it's whatever you want to dictate as a big challenge, whatever your what's that word you're saying, like the scope or the metric, whatever you want to just determine as your metric for big challenge or big adversity, you can always get past it. It doesn't matter. You either got you gotta be smart. You gotta see, okay, is this a mountain? Is there a tunnel I can go through to go under the mountain, or do you have to go over the mountain? Most of the time you gotta go over the mountain. Simple.
But if you consistently work, you'll get somewhere.
You will get somewhere. I will cross that finish line. I don't know if I'm going to have to walk some of it.
You might crawl.
I may crawl, but I'm going to start the race. I'm going to finish the race no matter what it takes because I set myself out on that. The main reason why I did this is because I seek an immense amount of contentment through adversity, through setting a goal, going through a lot of pain and suffering and tension, and coming out stronger.
Well, we were talking about this at the bar. I think Doug was there for it, actually. Because we got into we were talking about, like, how when you go to face a challenge, and, like, any challenge that you do that, like, makes you feel good, you're going to have to work through, like, some suffering and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you have the good feeling. But we were talking, I think you were there, though.
Because coming out of it, you just have all this past of, like, 8 months of training that you did not give up. It really comes down to that. And I can use that for the rest of my life if I want to do a triathlon or if I want to do whatever it is that is a challenge that takes a lot of day-to-day commitment. I will take away the fact that I set a goal to run a marathon and I ran it.
Yeah, well, you know you can do it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you know, that's
the biggest thing is to know that you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Because then you don't have to do it again. You know that you could if you needed to.
More or less, I've already done it.
Yeah.
You know, I've already committed to it. I've already understood that I will. The only thing that could ever stop me would be like getting hit by a car and like not be able to walk. You know, going.
That was a pretty severe example.
Exactly. Like, that's the only thing.
Unless
like,
I fell off a building or something.
If I was like got like some crazy disease or got hit by a car and had a
what kind of
broken
crazy
neck.
Disease?
I don't know.
Like what kind of
syphilis?
Oh, jeez.
Didn't like one of the presidents have that really bad? Was it George Washington?
I don't know.
That was recent. That was pretty recent. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is there any recent president that has syphilis? Yeah, George Washington. Oh, yeah, that guy.
That was only like 3,000 years ago.
3,000 years. Country
son.
was formed like 300 years ago, and Doug's like George Washington a few thousand years ago.
Because he was king of the Vikings.
Yeah, he had the mammoths.
I'm the Viking.
The mammoths.
You are a Viking.
You were there.
Oh.
Look, he's like a Greek. He's like a Greek like god type of build. You're like a Viking type of build.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm
you're like a streamlined American rat race build.
I'm like that little guy in Ace Ventura, like when he goes to fight the guy, and then he turns around and there's a little guy in the backpack, and he comes out and he's like, "Oh," or like a Bruce Lee. That's like my.
I don't know how I would describe you.
Like small and nimble.
You're not even that
Jack
though.
be quick.
You're like in between small and nimble and me, and Doug. You're like right in the middle there. You're like you could be either one.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're like a young Spartan. That's like
whoa, wow. Don't give him that much credit.
You're not into like the.
I need an audition to a 300.
You're not into like the army yet, but you're like on that like trial path of childhood because you know how like
you're like serving all the fighters like their wine and everything and like
I just got back
all,
from the woods.
All their cuts up and like, you're just like learning and seeing what you can do better.
I'm like fiddling with my sword. Like, how does this work?
You just got your sword.
I just got it.
Yeah. What is a sword?
It's a weapon.
That's what you dictate.
Wow. What do you mean it's what you dictate?
Is it a double sided?
Anything could be a sword. You can make, yeah.
Are you looking for? I don't have.
I'm looking for like something I could.
That's my sword.
Actually, I used to have a sword on this wall right here. It was a World War II or a Civil War sword.
What?
I don't know where it went. Actually, I took it down. I think it's in the closet.
Did you fight in that war?
No, actually, let me see if I can find it. You guys keep doing your thing. I'm gonna see if it's over here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a 18.
Look,
this guy, what a man!
I told you
that bayonet.
No, it's
a sword.
No, the bayonet's in my car. This is a sword, but it's weak. You know what I mean? It's just like a.
Where did you get this?
That's dull. That's cutting butter.
I don't remember. It's not that sharp. It's
here. You go,
sharp.
dog.
It's not sharp. Here. It's really dull. It's all rusty.
It's heavy too.
Man, scare knives.
It's kind of small though. Kind of just like a cool little thing to put on the wall, you know.
But like, where did you get this, and like, what is it?
I'm pretty positive that I got it in Brooksville. Brooksville, Florida.
India.
Is it say India?
Brooksville, India.
It's probably just like an artifact, or like not an artifact. It's probably just like a replica or something. Because I think I got it at a Civil War reenactment.
Oh, you're one of them.
Oh, I went to one when I was a kid, and I was like, I want a sword, you know. So I was like, let me get this Civil War sword, you know. It's cool though. I had it on the wall. But yeah, how did we get onto the sword topic? He sheets it real slow.
I don't know. We get off topic a lot.
We do get off topic.
One of my favorite things was we went from talking about I like asked for advice on like this something I learned from a book, and that led to talking about sharks and astronauts somehow.
Sharks and astronauts.
Wow.
That's how every conversation goes.
Well,
Jeez.
it's inevitable because you're the astronaut on the shark. So what's Johnny?
Spaceship.
The spaceship. Hey, I actually used that analogy yesterday. I saw a video. It was like I don't know if it was Steve Harvey or something motivational.
Oh, I love Steve Harvey.
I know his backstory is pretty tough.
He's so entertaining too.
Yeah,
funny.
I love it. But his motivational stuff is very inspiring. I love it. My analogy is that a spaceship typically has like 4 rocket the fuel tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever it takes off, 2 stay on the ground on the launch pad. 2 go up as the rocket is going up, it reaches a certain altitude. 1 drops off. It uses all that fuel. It cannot sustain that weight anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Once it reaches the next altitude, the next one drops off. If you relate yourself to a rocket ship, this is okay. I mean, this analogy. This analogy is actually like it could be perceived as humorous, but my intent is to be actually philosophical and meaningful of it. Relate yourself to a rocket ship with 4 fuel tanks and relate that to you at a younger age. You have your parents holding you down, and you have like your peers. So those are all giving you fuel and attention in your younger life. Okay.
They're propelling you.
Exactly. So, but whenever you take off, say you go to college, your 2 parents stay at home, those fuel tanks, and now you're going off and you have 2 more fuel tanks. That could be your friend group, right?
Yeah.
But as you keep going up, so the metaphor would be, the rocket ship's going up through the atmosphere and you are going up through your life and your career, whatever it is, you're going to have to get rid of that extra weight if you want to go to the highest point that you can achieve.
Well, once you get into space too, then you're cruising.
But you have to get rid of that. So you're going through space. You're going through the atmosphere. You have the 2 fuel tanks still on. You drop 1 off. Now you can go faster because you have less weight.
Yeah.
You have less holding you down. That could be related to your peer group that's bringing you down.
Yeah.
Like I say,
it could be a girlfriend or something.
Yeah.
Too.
Whoever you surround yourself with is who you become, more or less. It has a high impact. Yeah, it could be a girlfriend that's like you both have different morals and values, and you're just straying away. You're not going to be. This is not the companion for you, bringing you down.
Yeah.
Get that fuel tank off. Get that fuel tank off.
Yeah.
Now you're going to be able to go faster, right? Now you're going more to your goal. Now you have 1 more fuel tank on, and you got to get that off. You got to be solo riding in order to get to the highest point that you see yourself as what you want to do. Because if you have all these things that are holding you on, that spaceship will never get to where it needs to go or its goal because it has too much weight on it.
Yeah.
So that can be related to different the weight in the fuel tanks on the rocket ship. The rocket ship is basically you. All that weight and resistance is going to prevent you from reaching your goal.
Yeah.
More or less.
Well, we actually touched on this last week, I think, because we were talking about how as you mature, that's like the process of maturing is the same thing as becoming okay on your own. We had briefly talked about this. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the same concept, though. It's like you've got those things holding you, and like you do need those things to propel you into the atmosphere.
Sure. Yeah.
But then you have to, like you're saying, you have to let it go. You have to be able to function on your own in order to get out of the atmosphere and reach your goal.
Eventually, the rocket just gets into outer space and is floating there.
Yeah, you don't need any more propellant then, because you're already going. You're already on your path, and then from there, all you got to do is wait a few days and eat some astronaut food.
Or just go into orbit. You're going into orbit.
I wasn't going to go into orbit. I'm going to Mars, bro.
I'm going to orbit. I'm going to orbit.
I'm going to mine some ice out of Mars.
I really do like that analogy, though.
I do, too. That was a good one, John.
Well, thanks. Oh, I didn't know who you were
talking to. What an absurd
to.
hypothetical.
This is...
Oh,
absurd.
You just saw the board?
No.
Yeah, look at that.
I didn't just see it,
We
actually.
hand drew this, John. Drew that.
Actually, I drew that.
I was crying when I first saw it, but I'm not crying anymore.
No?
Nope.
What a great way to wrap it up.
I got over it.
So how long have we been recording here? We're at 39 minutes and 13 seconds. Is there any other things that you guys want to talk about before we get going?
No, I think we talked about marathons, rockets, and astronauts.
We didn't talk about sharks.
And Spartans.
Yeah. Hercules. Well, I guess then we'll end the video. Speaking of sharks, though, follow Landshark. Follow and subscribe to Landshark Lifestyle, where the Absurdity podcast will be posted. I think we're going to keep doing these.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think we all enjoy this more.
But it's a good dynamic.
Whatever. And then
Whoa.
also leave some comments, drop some likes, subscribe to some stuff, hit the bell. Do all the stuff.
Do all this stuff.
Do all the stuff. And follow the Instagram at
why not,
Landcheck
right?
Lifestyle.
Why not?
And tune in next week for another episode of Absurdity.
Peace.
Peace.